Hi, this is Zak Mir with the US Chartbreakers here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Friday, the 31st of May. Starting off with the S&P, which has done what we didn't want it to do, which was close back below 52.64, the old high of the year from back in March, April, and that suggests that we're going to head down to the 50-day moving average level and the floor of that rising trend channel from back in September, October, around 51.75 before we head higher. Obviously, if you can reverse yesterday's sell-off and close above 52.64, then it's back up to the best levels of the year to date, just in the 53.40 area. Moving on to the Nasdaq, which has been relatively stronger than the situation at the S&P, but still here looks as though we're ready to test the old resistance, the old peak from the 21st of March there, 18,464 as new support. While we're above that, still have a chance obviously of retesting the 18,900 peak that we've had, the record level, and heading up to as high as 19,700 by the end of next month at the top of that rising September trend channel. But the more likely scenario is that we need to test the 50-day line currently at 18,074, or even the floor of that channel, 17,700, before we then make new ground to the upside. Moving along to the stocks, and starting off with one that is looking interesting from a technical perspective. That's because we've got the second gap higher in just about a week. Broadening triangle, I suppose you could call it, really, rather than a trend channel. I suppose it could conceivably be regarded as a rising trend channel situation, so that maybe that's a fairer look at the way that things are going here. But the top of that channel there, $256, and we're looking for that while we remain above the old gap floor there from back in April, around $225, so above 225, 256 on Burlington. We haven't looked at the following stock for a while here, and it's C3. Here, the reason is obviously it's been in a bit of a downtrend, but gapped up through the 50-day line yesterday and above recent resistance 2680, looking for the top of that broadening triangle from back in September, as high as $42 by the end of July. So some challenging goal there for C3 to go for. Next up is Credo, and here gapping up through resistance, which is normally a good sign, through the $23.80 area, and above that looking for the top of that rising trend channel from back in basically this time last year, heading for $30, and we're looking for that by the end of June. Next situation is one which we haven't covered before, but hopefully it'll be a regular forward air. Here you can see that we've got this falling wedge off the lows, and hoping that the shares will bounce well. We've basically had a double bottom in the $12.10 area, looking for the 50-day moving average and to close that gap down that we had earlier this month up to $22 by the end of next month, or hopefully a bit sooner than that. Ideally, we stay on the right side of recent resistance at $15, which was broken yesterday. Next situation is coming up, and it is GSE Systems. Here we've got a rising trend channel, the top of the channel there, heading towards the $5 area. We're looking for that well before the end of next month. Obviously, plenty of resistance there at $5 and just above, and looking for that upside while we hold above the recent broken resistance at $3.75. Moving on to a decent looking situation, HP, and here you'll see why we like this. The shares gapping through, gapping to new higher levels, at least in the near term. The top of the channel there that we've been in since the beginning of 2022, heading for $45. That's our target as soon as the end of next month, while we remain above resistance on the way down around $35. That's from back in the summer of 2022. On to a stock which has had a rather large move over the last, last week, in fact, Logistic Properties, and probably I would say this is the best call on a stock I've made in 30 years, largely because there's a very distinct lack of information, but the feeling here was always there was going to be a decent move. So initial target here, $18, the next one, $33, and then the final one, which was delivered yesterday, $50. Obviously, we've rather overshot that particular situation, and obviously looking for the next clue as to where the shares will go. We've also looked at the following stock here, and it's done rather well too, which is Nano Nuclear. Same kind of thing, just guessing really the top of the channel there. In this case, it was supposed to be around the $8.50 mark. And that means that the next level up hopefully will be up to $13 while we remain above the $8 zone. So looking for 13 by the end of next month. Next stock is also of interest if you are a bull, in the sense that you could argue stage one of the recovery has been done. So up to the triangle top there from the beginning of the year, $3.30, above $3.30. We're looking for up to $5.60 by the end of next month, and ideally we stay on the right side of the $2 mark. Interesting ticker code for this stock, Petco, which is otherwise known as WOOF. Here you can see we've got a broadening triangle base, top of the triangle there at $5.30, and we're looking for that at least while we're above resistance on the way down, and recent resistance around $3.60 on an end of day close basis. Rent is next, and Rent the Runway, sort of dicing, well, trading either side of the initial target we had there, around the $28, $29 area. End of day close above $29. We're looking for a fresh leg up to as high as $52 by the end of next month. But the key here is staying above the latest $22 to $25 support area. Decent moves for the next stock, Summit Therapeutics, and here we've also done what we wanted to do in terms of hitting that line there, $10.20. Above that, looking for a fresh leg to the upside, maybe as high as $14. So that really delivering the goods after a massive gap close by signal as well. So hopefully a little bit more there, up to $14 on Summit. Stock which arguably is not quite in the same league at the moment is Smart for Life, but here we do have a falling trend channel, top of the channel there, $12.80. We are grudgingly looking for that while we remain above the 50-day line around $3.80. So let's see if we can get an opportunity for a bounce off that particular 50-day moving average. Finishing off with Vercasa, and here another falling wedge situation, top of the wedge there around $6.30, which is what we're looking for by the end of next month. More end of day closes we have above recent resistance at $4.80, the more likely we're going to get to that $6 plus target. That's it for me today. More updates over the weekend.